Oh my goodness, we actually have people watching. Like, guys, so here, this is the basement of our old Victorian home. You can see that it's kind of a creepy spot. The foundation is made of quarried stone. It's a leaky, kind of a damp place. This is actually where I first started YouTubing. When I was doing Solve Crimes with Rick and Gavin, my office was down in this room. This was a coal crib. Um, it's perfect for a dark room though because I was able to block out the windows pretty easily, and I can just set up a temporary place. Now I'm hoping that I will make a permanent spot in our home for a dark room, probably in this spot, but that'll be uh, that'll be down the road. I'm not going to be able to interact with you much on this one, so I've just set up my camera on a tripod here. I have no plans other than to play around in the dark room a little bit, and maybe you'll enjoy it. I don't know. We'll see. There's a particular print that I want to do tonight, and I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go for it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy. And maybe we'll talk every once in a while too. All right. Let's see. Where are you? You should be on this roll. There you are. Okay, so uh you won't be able to see this, but this is the negative that I'm going to be working on right here. I wish I had a couple of tools that I don't have yet. I started doing film photography when I was in high school, which is, of course, before digital photography. This was the only version of photography that was available, and I loved it. Made some of my closest friends doing this that are friends to this day. But I think I got my first digital camera in maybe 2000, 2001, and I was seduced by it. I thought that it was so great that and access to equipment was outside of my budget at the time. I I loved digital for that reason. It's just I could afford it. I could buy a cheap. I think it was a Kodak camera. I think it was 1.1 megapixels, and take pictures of our growing family. But I've wanted a lab basically since I graduated high school. I did have a setup that I could set up at home um, when I was in school, but it was nothing compared to the lab at school. So really didn't set it up all that often. This is actually a photo that I've been working on uh, recently. This is my latest version of this print. This is not what I'm working on tonight, but I've started to get the contrast right in here. I had problems with developer. I was using the wrong developer, and I'm not really satisfied with the shot itself, but we got to do a little bit of dodging in here, and we got to do a little burning up here. So it's going to end up being a way more complex shot than just processing. So hopefully you guys can see okay and can hear okay. I don't know. I'm gonna Oh my goodness. Okay, Robin is here. Robin is here. Yeah, like I'm recognizing some names, but I've got to keep the camera back here because I don't need any white light over there. So I wish I could interact with you guys a little bit, and maybe I can um, as we kind of go along. Oh, last time I did this, my eyes worked years ago. Actually, looks pretty good. It's a dusty, dusty basement. So got that to contend with. That's about where I want to start there. I don't know how you're going to be able to see when I do the focusing. What does the camera look like? Can you see anything? I guess you can. That image down there is that's my image that I'm working with. Let's The way I have the darkroom set up now is when I work on focusing, the the safe light turns off, which is not ideal for me. I'd rather not have it that way, but this room doesn't have electrical in it, and so I've had to bring in some extension cords, and I really only have one extension cord, so that's the reason that it's like this. I don't know. Maybe you guys want to see this a little closer. Let's see. I don't know how interested you guys are in this, but this is a Bezier enlarger. It's a 23C2. It's an old enlarger, but it's what I learned on. I think it may have been the 23C, not the 23C2 that I learned on. But Bezier for me is just nostalgic. I love the brand. It's like it's I don't know. It's just a brand that I'm loyal to. And this is the image that we're working with here. Uh, it's a fence, so kind of a wobbly wrought iron fence, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working with. I wish like I will eventually if this is the room that I turn into my permanent dark room, I'll I'll bring electrical and I'll bring plumbing into here. Right now I have no plumbing. I have limited electrical. I do have good ventilation in here. That's I mean that's the reason. That's the second reason that I chose this room. But I would really like to be able. I can the the enlarger's dark or bright enough that I don't need full darkness in order to pull focus. But because of the way I have it set up, I just with the limited electrical, I uh, I have them on the same circuit. When I turn one on, the other one turns off, and that's fine. We'll just work with it. But that's why it's doing that. And just for a little background, I don't know if you guys care, but uh, I, I think I've shared this before. Oh dang it! Got a pair of tongs that have fallen in. Anyway, I started. doing film photography in a high school class at Casa Roble Fundamental High School in Orangevale, California in 1989. My teacher was a man named Alan Thorner. Alan, I can't call him Alan, I call him Mr. T, but is one of the most gifted photographers. And of course, I'm going to look up to him because he was my teacher, but he honestly was one of the most gifted photographers. Uh, I've been in contact with him. I've loved his work. I started his class in 1989, and I got the benefit of being my older brother's younger brother who was in his class. Freshmen weren't allowed in his class, but for some reason, because he liked my brother, I got to be in his photo one class my freshman year. So I did 4 years of photography. I was the president of the photo club. I was a yearbook photographer, and these days, I mean, half of my day job is photojournalism. So it's it's been something I've been doing for a long, long time. Something that I'm really passionate about. But the lab part of it is the stuff that I really shone at when I was a kid. Of course, this is all high school level, right? It's not like I'm some kind of crazy lab tech, but that's where I really shone. I was a good I was a good lab tech. So, but what I never had to do is the chemistry because my teacher did the chemistry, and I've been having issues with my chemistry. And fortunately, the photography community is like it's so friendly and so helpful. And I've joined some groups on Facebook, and they've helped me, with the right chemicals and everything. It's been terrific. And I can see that I don't have my door completely shut, so I'll be right back. I've got to turn off the lights out here. I've got a pretty janky setup to keep the door dark because I've been doing this with my kids and I want them to be able to come in and out. There's an expensive way where you can get a revolving door that keeps it light tight, but I'm just using a series of curtains made out of plastic and it's working. It's working pretty well. Okay, that's enough of that. So what I'm doing now is I'm pulling focus on a grain focuser. It's it's like looking into a microscope and you're instead of focusing on the image, you're focused on the grains of silver in the actual emulsion of the negative, and it ensures that you're actually in focus. Because this particular image that I shot has a pretty shallow depth of field, so most of most of it's not in focus. There's just a very um, limited part that is, so it's important to pull the focus on the actual negative, not on the image. If that makes any sense. I don't know if it does, but that's how I think of it. And then I do it on an old contact print so that I've got the right paper thickness and everything. And then I'll use this to frame it as well. I can use an easel, but I don't like that easel that I got, and so I just use painter's tape to find how I want to crop the image. And what's funny is I just focused it, but I'm not all that sure that I've got it cropped the way I want. We want to bring leading lines in. We want to make this an interesting shot. I think I might enlarge it a little bit. Yeah. So have to pull focus again because I've now got a better line coming in. It's a little more interesting. So let's pull that focus again. It's probably just pitch black what you guys are looking at. Dang, I had gotten that so close. Good on me. Good job, Gavin. Okay, so now I've got my paper where I want it to be. I've cropped my image. I'm gonna just lay down some tape to locate it. It's really funny because this is blue tape, but under the red light, it just looks pitch black. Looks like gaff tape. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I just put some tape on there that's like it just happened to be the tape that I have. It's whatever that is, 2-inch tape, a little overkill, but that helps me find where the paper is supposed to be, and then you can see how the image is going to be cropped there. Yeah. All right. So this is just photographic paper. It's light sensitive paper. This is the multi-grade RC from Ilford. Ilford's a British company. It's been around for 140, 150 years. They make good products. And to just kind of decide what I want to do as far as what my exposure time is going to be, I cut little strips of paper. This isn't my technique. This is just a standard technique in photography, but you cut little strips of paper and you make yourself a cardboard tool, and we will do different exposures. I'll do them in 5 seconds at a time, move the cardboard, do another 5 seconds, and just kind of see generally where a good place is for exposure on this. Uh, a lens on an enlarger is very much like a lens on a camera. It's got aperture. So in this case, I'm using a Nikon. It's a Nikkor 50 millimeter. It's got 6 elements that expand and contract just the same way an aperture does on a camera, and it has the effect of brightening or dimming the image. So stopped down all the way, it's a dim image. Stopped open all the way, and it's bright, and that's where I use to focus it. But what ends up happening is when it's open all the way, you get this effect because of the shape of the lens. You get this effect where you'll get a really good area where you can focus on it, but at different parts of the image, they may not be as in focus. But if you stop it way down, then the light is forced to bend around that aperture and it creates a diffraction issue, which makes it worse. And so what you typically do is find the sweet spot of the lens. Now on this lens, it tends to be right around f11, which is funny because that was a saying that we have. F11 is nice, but on this lens it happens to be right around f11. So f11 on this lens, let me cover this strip of paper, uh, looks like looks like that. So that's about where I'm going to be. I'm gonna put my strip right on the subject part of it right here, and then I'm gonna set my timer for 5 seconds. And I don't expect that this will. Oh, I want to put my contrast filter in there. I think this will probably end up being somewhere between 10 and 15 seconds, but I'm going to do between 5 and 35. Actually, I'll do between 0 and 35 just to kind of see the grade. And so here we go. Let's give it a go. That's my first 5 seconds. I moved my tool. I moved the paper a little bit, so it'll be out of focus, but that's okay. So we're at 15 seconds. 20 seconds. I've got plenty of paper. 25, and then we'll do 30. That'll be enough. There's 25. And there's 30. Okay. I'm going to bring you in for this. So I've got this strip of paper that's been exposed at different rates between 0 and 30 seconds. And let's see how this goes. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. I'm going to hold my tripod here, put this in the developer, and just agitate it a little bit. It doesn't take long before it develops. In fact, that was the problem I was having. It was taking me like a full 6 minutes to develop a print, and it was because I was using the wrong developer. There we go. I don't know how many of you have seen this kind of stuff before, right? I mean, maybe some of you did this in high school. I can't see your chat, so I don't know what your experience is on this. But you can see the different exposure settings, right? 0, 5, 10, 20, or 15, 20, 25, and 30. It'll look a little darker under the red light. But maybe some of you guys did this in school or did this in college, or I don't know if any of you had a home studio at all. We're coming up on a minute here, and that's pretty much all we need. All right. So we're pretty well developed there. So we'll take it out of the developer solution, just give you guys kind of a close-up look here. This is stop bath. This stops the development process. It only needs to be in there 30 seconds or so. And then I need to wash those tongs for the fixer. This is just a test, so it's not like, you know, one of the things that's missing in this lab is a clock on the wall, so I can easily see how long things are in. No, one second. You guys just took a bath in the fixer. Yeah, there's a lesson learned. Let's dry off my phone. All right. Yeah, I got to be careful there or get a better. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay. Yeah, these are the prongs that, well, just rinse those off a little bit. Hope you guys are okay there. All right. Just gonna rinse that off a little bit. One of the things that you can see, I don't want to make the same mistake twice here, but in that black tray there, that's just water and it's rinsing, it's just cleaning off um, it's just cleaning it off. Let's see if I can. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me and everything. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Uh, all right, so this is now light safe. This image is light safe, so and my paper is safe, it's closed. So I'm gonna turn on the light. See how we are. See how you guys can see this, but yeah, go to a spot where there's better light here. So you can see that this part of the paper got no exposure. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, 30 seconds, and 35 seconds. And I'm actually thinking that I wanna, I'm gonna print this. I'm gonna go ahead and print this at 30 seconds. Um, but I think I'm gonna find that that's probably going to be too light, and I'm going to want uh, probably gonna want deeper black than that. I might want to open up that lens. I'm gonna open up that lens one stop, and I think I'm going to add a little more contrast as well. And if I did one stop, that is opening up one stop, but I'm adding more contrast, another stop. I think I might be able to do that test strip. I think I might just be able to do it like it. I think I'm going to do 35, 30, and 25. Just see what that strip looks like. Yeah. Maybe 20. Maybe 20 through 35. The, this paper is kept in a light tight bag inside a light tight box. Pretty, pretty genius design. Man, if I make a mess over here when I drop you guys to that picture. Okay, I've got my strip. I'm going to go to 35 seconds. I'm going to do this in one exposure, but I'm going to move it 4 times. So 35, 30, 25, and 20. All right, up there. Here we go. All right. So what I did was, as I started it like this, and then 5 seconds in I moved it. Another 5 seconds I moved it. And another 5 seconds I removed it. So this should give me a 35, 30, a 25, and a 20-second exposure just to see what it looks like. Now, unlike last time, I'm going to take you off of the tripod so it doesn't flip off, and we'll hand hold it. Get that in our developer. So you can see the lines, right? That's the least exposed. This is the most exposed. You'll see the lines developing in there. And I think I'm gonna like this contrast better. Never know until you see it in the light. Make sure that's fully developed. You don't want to take something out of the developer until it's finished developing. That's kind of an amateur move. You're like, oh, I want it to stop right there. Put it in the stop bath. But what you end up is with really muddy looking photographs. They don't get the dark blacks. It all stays kind of gray. That is the stop. Just needs to be in here for a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds. Let it be a little bit more than that. I think
It's hard to tell because under the safe light, everything's going to just look way more contrast and way darker than under the light. So you really can't tell until you've got full separate. This is the fixer. It's going to show you the water bath. Do you guys see all those little ripples in that? That's the silver coming off of the photos. All right. Hopefully, it looks like you guys are having a hard time hearing me. The bummer if that is the case. But so honestly, I think I'm gonna go here. I think I'm gonna do 35 full seconds and just see how that goes. We'll do 35 seconds. And all right, come with me. Hopefully, you guys can. I know that there's probably some issues with audio and stuff, but hopefully, you guys can see me here. We're gonna go 35 seconds. Push this button, and it exposes that. There we go. that was a 35-second exposure on F11, 3.5 on the contrast filter scale, and here we go. I can see that this could use a little more exposure down here, but we'll see it in the light, see what it does. These these images, like in digital, we can just have so much fun in Photoshop, basically doing what you would do in here, right? But I think that we've got the right exposure in here, and I think we've even got the right contrast, but in here, I think we need even a little more. We'll see what happens in the light. It could be that I need to pull that contrast back and then expose it a little bit more, or maybe even burn in this corner just a little bit. Let's see, I didn't do anything to my sound. It just, yeah, I think maybe the water is starting to get out of it. I think I ruined my phone. I've got a really bad streak on my on the front glass. It's yeah, dropping your phone into Fixer is not a good idea. All right, let's. Here's our stop bath solution. Really like the field on that. I am concerned about this spot right here that's really blown out. That I think that needs to be burned in. I think maybe, well, we'll look at it in the light, but maybe I pull the contrast back and I expose it a little bit more. See if we can get that in there. And if we can't, then maybe we burn it in. All right, I don't know if you guys heard me, but if you can see the silver in there, that is silver that is washed off of my prints. It's time for me to change this water. This is just water to rinse it off. And then we're light safe at this point. My paper box is closed. Let's see what we look like. Yeah, I actually think that we could add to this. That whole area down in the bottom really is washed out. I think that the contrast is actually pretty good. I just think I need to burn that in a little bit. And as it has been 35 years since I've burned, I think this will be fun. So I need to create a tool that we can burn that in a little bit. But I think step number one, we're gonna just let that wash for a bit. Step number one is to try to figure out what the exposure should be down in this area. This area right here is a driveway. It will be white anyway. But this is grass. It has sunlight on it. The sun is coming at it like this, but I think that I can bring in a little more of that. And I think it would add to the photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a test strip down here, and I think I'm going to try it about maybe 45 seconds or something like that, and see if I can get just a little bit more out of this area. And if I can, then we will make an exposure of just that area, and then we'll do the 35-second exposure to the whole print and see how that goes. So I think that's what I'll do. And this is good because, again, it's been over 30 years since I've burned anything. So, I mean, I could use the practice. And I need a tool. And what I'm going to do for the tool is I have cardboard and some scissors. I think just what I'm going to do is give me a piece of cardboard about that big. And I'm just going to do something like that. And when I turn that on, I can just do that. Let's see. About not like that. Yeah, I think that'll work. And this part, that'll be good. That'll work. Okay, so I've just kind of made a stencil of my shape. Now, if I should have a pair of those scissors that cut in a zigzag to give me a little more diffusion. But I think moving it around, I think I've like, I don't know. It's been since 1993 since I did this, so um, we're just gonna give it a shot. First, let's do a test strip.
And I'm going to add, I'm just going to add 10 seconds to that area. So I'm going to do a 45-second exposure. And just so you can see what I just did, there's this timer. I did the entire thing at 35 seconds before, right? So I'm gonna do a test strip at 45, and when I let's see, let me close my box. When I hit the button, well, you guys can't see it, so it doesn't really matter. But oh man, okay, it has to do its thing for a second. Give it a second. There we go. Okay, it does it automatically. It's pretty cool. Okay.
Can you? I don't know. I haven't been talking. Let's see. So it might add a little. Okay, you can hear me good. Might add a little bit. What I'm trying to do is burn in some of that, and I've added 10 full seconds. And there is a little bit more there. I think I'm going to go ahead and try it. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, yeah. That's better. I want to focus on that bottom part of it though, not so much up here. And yeah, okay, we're gonna do this. We are gonna do it. We'll see how successful I am at it, having not done it for more than 3 decades. But let's give it a go. Hopefully you guys can hear me, man. I don't know. Yeah, that's actually coming in a lot better. Oh, that's coming in way better. I like that. And we can see the light coming through the fence and making those lines. That's way better. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, that's a successful burn. That's my first burn in 33 plus years. The last time I was in a dark room was the spring of 1993, right before I graduated high school. And oh, that looks so much better. My goodness, that I'm happy with that. Oh yeah, that yes. Yep, I'm happy with that. And once we get this over into the rinse, we can compare the two. But that is a for the first burn that I've done in over 3 decades, I'm happy with it. I don't see any obvious artifacts. And what's kind of fun about this shot, this is done on 400 ISO film, so it's really grainy, and I like it. It just kind of is what it is, right? The old style, but this whole shadow area is really extra grainy, kind of the way it is here. And yeah, I I love it. I this is one that I love. Um, let's see how it goes next to the original. Yeah, so let's think about this. The contrast filter is at 3.5. The aperture at f11, I think. I'll have to look closer at it. All of this at 35 seconds, and this at 50 seconds, 50, so an extra 15 seconds down here.
And let's see, and what I do is I just take one of those sheets or two of those sheets and I cut them into tiny strips, and those are test strips. And so I'll pull in and I'll grab a test strip and I'll put it into part of the image to test how much exposure, how much time, what contrast filter we should put in there, what aperture on the lens, that sort of thing. And I just test it. And then when I'm comfortable with I'm close on my test, then I will do the full page. And the reason that I do that is just economics, right? Each one of these pages is a couple dollars. And so it's just cheaper to do your test strips. And if you have to use 5 test strips, that's 5 out of maybe 20 or 30 that you make out of one page. So it becomes just more economically feasible. All right, so let's turn on our light. We're light safe. And let's compare the images. This is the first one here. And here I've added 15 seconds. So before, after. And I like that we can see the light coming through the fence. I might be able to add maybe just a few more seconds down here. So do this section at maybe, well, it's more like this section at about 15 more seconds than at this one, maybe at 20. But I'm actually pretty pleased with the way that is. Now, to just show you the grain, if it'll focus, I don't know if it will, but it's grainy. And I'm okay with it. I like the grain. So let's keep this in the rinse. This one I will put on my drying rack. And how about, I don't know, how many of these should I make? Let's put that there. I don't have very much room on a drying rack, come to think of it. So maybe let's just do one more. Hopefully you guys can hear. That doesn't change anything. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna call that a finished print. That is not a finished print. That's a test print. So that can just go over here. I can make some room on my little drying place. Oh, and if you guys were wondering, like, if if you're joining us, like, here's the first test strip we did on different times, right? You can see those lines. Uh, these are test strips from other ones. Yeah, here's another one where where we were getting closer to where we needed to be. So I did 2 test strips, and that got me close. Now, just now I'm just kind of judging from the light. I think I am on this next one. I'm going to add another 10 seconds maybe in that bottom, just that very bottom corner. And then I'll do, so let's see, my first exposure will be 15 seconds. My second exposure will be 10, and my third will be 35. And that should get us a print that I'm happy with. I'm already happy with this one. I think that's lovely. I just do want to get just a little bit more down in that bottom part. And the wonderful thing about this kind of thing is, like, no two prints are ever going to be the same because the variables change too easily. So uh I don't know if you guys are interested in, if anybody would be interested in buying a print like this, but maybe what we can do is I can put these 2 prints um, on my website and do a limited number of them. We'll put these 2 up, and then maybe I don't know if they'll sell. If they sell, they sell. If they don't, they don't. In fact, I don't know. maybe I can do more if you guys like them. I like to keep prints to a limited number, but maybe. Okay, so first exposure, 10 seconds down in the very bottom corner. Second exposure, 15 seconds, wider part of that corner. And then third exposure, 35 seconds for the entire print. That's what we're going to land on. And I just wish my eyesight were better. Um, just put this over here real quick. I am at, yeah, I'm at F11. All right. All right. So 10 seconds down in this corner. Here we go. Okay. Then 15 seconds in bigger part of the corner. And then 35 seconds everywhere else. Okie dokie. Let's grab you guys. Hopefully, you're still hearing me. Let's that one a little bit more. Okay, good. You're hearing me. All right, so down here it should be even a little bit darker than before. So I've done 3 total exposures here. Yeah, I think we're going to be glad we did that. Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely glad we did that. This house here across the street, we call it the napping house. I don't know if you guys ever if you ever read The Napping House to your kids. It's one of those like progressive books. There's a little old lady on a bed in a napping house, and on the lady is a dog. The dog is napping on the lady on the bed in the napping house. Then there's a cat on the dog on the bed. And it's one of those progressive style books. We used to read it to our kids, and you never see the outside of the napping house, but based on the artwork, this house I just think is the napping house. It's just a fun old Victorian late 1870s, I think, is when that house was built. And it just looks like the napping house to me. And then the house over here actually it's a big home. Like this is a pretty big home. This is like 4,000 square feet. This one is also about 4,000 square feet. And the fun thing about this house is that it was once
the carriage house for the mansion behind it. So it was literally a barn in the 1800s for the wealthy people who lived the next street over. And I'm jealous of that house. It's a beautiful brick home, but built in the 1800s as a carriage house. Guys, I like this one. I like this one a lot. I really love how you can see the shadows coming off of the fence, off of the trees, and you couldn't see that before. It was completely washed out. This view right here should be maybe like right here should be the thumbnail. Right. I'm actually pretty proud of myself for that burn job. That's pretty good. It's definitely not expert. It's not what I once was, but I don't know that anybody would know what I had done just by looking at it. This part of Western Pennsylvania is so cool. These historic homes. There are just so many great stories, and they're so beautiful. The napping house over there is this. I mean, it looks like a gingerbread house, and it looks like it's the smallest house on the block, but it's really narrow and really deep. So it's quite a big home. And of course, we love the people that live there. We have such a great little community here. Okay, we are light safe at this point. Just gonna get that in its first rinse. And here's our before, or here's our after. Here's our before and after. So it's subtle, but definitely worth it. Let's. So this was print number 2, but we'll call this print number 1. And then print number 2. Yeah, I think that's what we do. I think I'm going to print a couple of these. We're going to call this one another test print. That's not going to be a final print. This will be our final print. I just want to look at anything else like in the composition. How did I do as far as my composition? My leading lines are coming in. They're not from the corner. Um, I'm okay with the kind of washed out exposure of the background because it's really this fence post that's my subject. Now, if I were to maybe give myself a little criticism, that sub that's really in the wrong spot. It should be over a little bit. But I don't want to, I want to give this post a little bit of room. So I'm just going to have to live with it. And as far as the balance of it, though, this is the subject, this is the entire subject, and it is balanced where it's supposed to be. So I think it's a valid criticism, but I think it's okay. So that's a print that I'm happy with. And I think I will make one more and I'll put them on the website. And this one, ah, come on, there we go. This one goes in the shredder. So this is our final print, and we're going to do one more before we're done tonight. 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 35 seconds. That's what we're going to do. All right, let's get you back over. Develop the roll, so just squeezed off a couple shots, and there's the tool that we use. Just kind of do one of these things, and we'll never use that tool ever again. I don't know. I love this stuff. And I've missed it. I've really missed it. And I'm so glad that I got back in touch with my high school photo teacher. Let's see. Let's see how we did down there. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Yeah, not bad at all. I mean, I see some mistakes, but for uh for somebody who hasn't done this in over 30 years, I am pleased. Plus, it's so much fun. And it, guys, the smell of this place is the smell of my high school years. Vivian says, "Don't shred it, sell it for less." No, 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 no. Well, if I'm not satisfied with it, it won't go out the door. But I appreciate you saying that. Let's see. I just want to make sure that we're fully developed. I think we are. I think we're in good shape there. No sound again? Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you drop your phone in Fixer. I can't believe I did that. Wish, wish it would work, but the next time around, we'll see if we can get it to work. Again, this is the stop bath. Okay, good, Vivian. I'm glad it's back on. This is the stop bath. This stops the development process. Pay girl is saying there is sound. Okay, good, 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 good. Let's do that. Drip off. The smell of the smell. It's the fixer that's the main one for me. This is the fixer right here, and it has this. I don't know even how to describe it. It's very acidic smelling. I don't know that it is acidic, but uh, but it smells almost like vinegar, and I think to some people it's stinky, but to me it's just childhood. I love it. I can't tell you how many hours I spent in a dark room as a kid, and I had a really good opportunity to be an intern for an amazing lab tech. I mean, he's legendary. He uh, he let me he let me hang out with him for a summer. It was amazing. All right, we are light safe now, and out of the two, men, they're pretty darn equal. They're pretty equal. There's number two compared to number one, and Bien chocho, as I would say in my Argentina days. Bien chocho. Very satisfied. Happy with it. And we'll just get these rinsed off. And let me see. Let me dry my hands, and then we'll probably call it a day. You can see my ghetto entryway into the dark room behind me. This room was once a coal crib. It heated the house. But let's see. I can see your comments now. If you guys want to, if you have any questions before we call it a night, I think what I will do is I will probably put these two prints on the website if you guys want to buy them. I'll sign them and I'll mark them, as number one of and number two of in a series. I will make more of because I like this particular shot, and I think it's a good shot. And so maybe I'll make a series of 10 and put those on the website if anybody's interested in purchasing, you know, a limited run of a photograph that I snapped on my Pentax K1000 uh, and developed on a 40-year-old developer in the old school way in my basement here in Western Pennsylvania. Um, just see if there's any questions you guys have while I'm here. It doesn't look like it. Let's see. Gavin, haven't been in a dark room. Hold on. What does it say? Uh, dang it. The chats go away. How do I bring that back? There we go. Okay. Gavin, haven't been in a dark room since elementary school. Photography club. Very cool. Very cool. Vivian, great job. Thank you very much. Let's see if there's anything else in there that yeah, I wish the sound hadn't gone out, but glad you guys enjoyed it. Glad we were able to do this on a Sunday night. I will probably do this every once in a while. And I don't know how I'll let you know. I guess I'll post in the tank when it's up on the website. And yeah, we'll just dry these off, put them in an envelope. I'll sign the back and put, one of 10 and two of 10. And then when I get back from California, I'll do the rest. I guess that's what I'll do. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. That was a lot of fun. That was tons of fun for me. And we just had a small group on. This is not my normal content. I'm normally a true crime guy, but this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long, long time. So glad that I got to do it. All right, guys. Have a good night.